I was very open with him about where I was emotionally.
So Iris finally dropped some receipts. And at first I was thinking maybe she finally had a point against Pepe. But the longer the video went on, the more you can see that she has no credibility. But the best thing about the video is that she threw Hannah under the bus.
I also want to address the conversation around the words afraid or terrified. I never said those words myself.
So look, I'm glad that Iris finally did drop some receipts, because she hyped up these problems about Pepe so much. She made Pepe out to be this big villain before the season ever even started. People were going on podcasts to attack Pepe, and then the season comes out, and it's just all so underwhelming. So the least she could do is try and give herself some credibility. Now, I don't think she necessarily was able to do that, but I don't have a lot of time, so I want to get right into it and break some of this video by Iris down.
So let's start from the beginning. After the show, Pepe and I were exclusive. We weren't officially boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but we had agreed to be loyal to each other.
The funniest thing to me is all of this drama coming from this fake relationship to end the season to try and win the show in a last-ditch effort between Pepe and Iris. And coming from that, now we have Iris trying to just ruin Pepe's name everywhere. And as I've seen some people say on social media, if you have to run an entire smear campaign against somebody like they did with Pepe before the season, during the season, now still after the season, is that really the truth if you have to have an entire smear campaign? I don't know about that.
My conversation with TJ was communicated with Pepe multiple times. We first talked about it when we were in Fiji, and I mentioned to him that I wanted to speak to both TJ and Hannah.
So the first thing she tries to do to try and have some credibility is to prove that she discussed with Pepe that she was going to have a conversation with TJ after the show ended, even though her and Pepe were supposed to be together. One thing she also had during this video is more words up top while she is speaking. She's saying here that Pepe agreed that we would talk to both of them, as in Hannah and Pepe, before we get back, because I told him that I didn't want to speak on any podcasts until we had those conversations. She goes on to post this text message where she is saying, I think tonight or tomorrow I'm going to talk to TJ and Hannah at some point to clear the air with them before I get on any podcast, because I don't want it to be a shocker that I'm feeling you, even though I'm sure they already know. So first thing what I gather from this damn text message is that Iris and Pepe were going to keep trying to scam because they thought they had some popularity after the season ended because they were one of the couples in the finals. In the same text message, though, Pepe says, up to you. I think we should at some point, but on phones because they can do things differently with text. And then his next message is asking her if she wants to go to a Chargers game. There's also says there's 3 replies here to this message that we're not actually seeing in Iris's picking and choosing her receipts that she's going to show us. What I gather from this, and this was Pepe's whole point, is that he did not know that Iris is going to go and see TJ that same night, because in this text message, he's saying on phones, as in we should talk to them over the phone, on a FaceTime, not via text message. This does not prove that Pepe didn't know that Iris is going to immediately go see TJ and spend hours with him. Now, she does go on to say that her and Pepe talked about her talking with TJ on a FaceTime.
Before I left to go meet up with TJ, Pepe and I talked about it via FaceTime again.
And that in this FaceTime with Pepe, she's saying that she told Pepe that she was going to go see TJ and more people from the cast. She did post another text thread.
At the end of the call, I told him I was going to see TJ and some of the cast. After the meetup, Pepe texted me and asked how it went, and I called him and I let him know what happened.
Pepe is asking about how her night went. She says, good, I talked to TJ. The Convo went well. I haven't talked to Hannah yet, but I'm really glad I got this off my chest of what happened, and he was very kind about everything. Once again, though, in this text message, it's not alluded to the fact that Pepe knew that they were going to do this in person. Pepe could have just thought that this was all going to take place over a phone, because that is how their first text messages about this that she showed was, and we didn't get to see the replies under those text messages. She goes on to say, I had already left the villa with Pepe, so in my mind that door was completely closed. I honestly didn't even think TJ would want to be with me after that because I knew he was hurt. Honestly, my theory, still going over all these things right now, is that Pepe and Iris were still going to try and scam. That's what I think happened. How it turned into so much drama from then, I really don't know, other than the fact that Iris likes to twist the truth, and Iris didn't want to seem like the bad guy getting back with TJ. That is still my theory. She does go on to explain why she broke up with Pepe in the first place.
The breakup wasn't because of one single thing. It was a pattern that was built over time. There were a lot of lies.
And some of the lies here that she lists of Pepe are quite interesting. She says he used to lie where he was and who he was with, brand deals he was offered, a lot of things about other cast members, saying he had his own place, telling me his address was leaked, that he owned a portion of Tesla. The last one is so weird that either Pepe is a really stupid liar or Iris is just really stupid. And having watched the season and having, seen Iris and her groupies try and push narratives and do a bad job of it, I think Iris may have just misunderstood Pepe, that he might own some Tesla stocks. I don't know, just strange. But next is where she immediately lost credibility with me.
On top of that, I was hearing things from people in our real lives about his past behavior. I was also receiving messages from other influencers and girls from past seasons that he was being disloyal.
She is talking about in her proof that she was receiving random messages from other people online, some of which were influencers, talking about Pepe, either chatting them up or hooking up with them, allegedly. But this is something that we've had to see this cast go through, where people online just straight up lie about them. I've covered the entire last few months of 2025. I had to cover all of these rumors about Nick out there that were absurd. Like, oh my God, here's a picture with Nick and another girl, and it turns out to be a sister. Oh my God, here's a picture with Nick cheating on Olandria with this girl, and it turns out to be one of his best friend's girlfriends. In a video I did a couple of weeks ago about Klay Thompson and Meg Thee Stallion, there was people trying to say that WNBA player Lexi Brown was the person he cheated with just because some random person on Twitter said that a friend of Lexi Brown's posted a message about it, but there was never any proof of that being done. It all came from a random Twitter account. So if Iris is using this kind of stuff as proof, her credibility with me, who covers a lot of this shit, and most of the time it's lies on social media, her credibility is out the window. And in fact, in one of her screenshots, it is someone talking about, hey, this is so random, but from girl to girl, I have to share this with you. My friends know this girl and got this info from her last night. She apparently slept with Pepe. It won't let me send the screenshots on here, so let me know if you see this. I can send them to you. No credibility with posts like this. Someone who was not able to send screenshots. Oh yeah, very, very convenient.
In the situation that became public specifically, I was given more receipts that were not leaked publicly by somebody who was very close to the situation. While that was all happening, I gave him the opportunity to explain things to me. But instead of taking accountability, he made me feel bad for even asking any question. Even after I told him I had receipts, he still tried to deflect.
Anyway, I guess this is the narrative that she's pushing, that Pepe was a huge cheater, cheating with everyone, even though when we cover this same thing for Nick, you could always poke holes in all the credibility because they're bullshit. She went on to say, I found out he decided to stay with this girl another night instead of coming home to repair the relationship, and that told me everything I needed to know. So I guess that is why they ended their relationship, because Pepe wanted to be maybe in something more real than them trying to scam after the Love Island season.
I didn't feel supported in moments that were important to me. Comments were being made to make me feel insecure.
I guess another reason she's saying here why Pepe was the big villain is because he would make comments to make her feel insecure. But I sit here and watch all of this and I think back to it all about how all of this happened in the span of a month. Iris and Pepe were not together for very long after the season ended. So for there to be this much drama is absurd, and either Iris is playing into it for clout or she's playing into it because she's dumb and she fell for all this shit on social media. She listened to all the noise. I still think she just wanted to be with TJ, and the Iris and Pepe scamming wasn't going to be popular enough for her.
Some people think that I started a smear campaign against him and I'm trying to make him look bad to make myself look better, and that's just not the case at all.
I mean, she could say that she didn't start this smear campaign against Pepe to make herself look better and make her getting back with TJ look better after ending the show with Pepe, but sure. She also posted this in the video saying, he knows that isn't the reality and that I left that relationship for multiple reasons that weren't public knowledge, yet he tried to make it sound like I ended the relationship over rumors. This is her being upset about him going on a podcast, talking about why they broke up, talking about her own cheating scandal, referencing TJ. Yeah, to me, I don't really think this worked out for her as great receipts, not when you're using these random people hitting you up, talking about evidence they have that they're not showing you. I mean, it's just Iris all over again from this past season, why everyone couldn't take her seriously on the show because she would never present evidence against Pepe. Now she's trying, but there's some reaching. But the funniest thing she did, which just to me is just Iris losing more credibility, is she threw Hannah under the bus.
I also want to address the conversation around the words afraid or terrified. I never said those words myself.
She wants to make it known that Hannah is the only person that said that Iris was afraid or terrified of Pepe. She also posted these words in the video saying, I'll only speak to my own experience, but I don't support certain narratives being put out against him. I only had concerns about how he might respond or retaliate publicly if I did choose to leave after I caught him being dishonest. Oh my god, this is such bullshit, because she's talking about how I'll only speak to my own experiences, but I don't support certain narratives being put out against him. So she's saying Hannah should have never put out those narratives. The entire season are these women and Jeremiah trying to put these narratives out against Pepe. So Iris was a part of it, whether she likes it or not. But her throwing Hannah under the bus after a month and a half of her trying to defend Hannah's piss poor behavior on the show is just it's just more evidence that Iris will twist anything to make herself look better, because it was just like 3-4 weeks ago she posted this about Hannah when Hannah was getting a lot of flack for helping Iris publicly on the show. She said, to my sweet Hannah Banana, you are the greatest person to have ever walked into my life. To have a friend like you is a blessing. I know your heart, I know your intentions, and I know the way you show up for the people you love. You're strong, you're real, and you never shrink yourself down, and I'll always stand beside that and do the same for you if you were as hurt as I was, my best friend and sister for life. To the others, if you are upset that my best friend had my back and was upset for me for being disrespected publicly, then you all need better friends. So, just a month ago, Hannah was her best friend, but now she is shoving Hannah right under that bus. Yeah, what a bunch of credibility from Iris.
And I feel like people have taken that and assumed something that I never said. Never said that there was anything physical, and I do want to clear that up because I would never want to imply that.
So yeah, Iris here just basically said, Hannah fucked up, let's put it all on her.
I can't speak to his intentions, but from my perspective, he told me a lot of things about other people that made me feel like he was the only person I could trust.
And then she goes on to say that, and it's like, once again, it's not like Pepe left the show before Iris. Iris is acting here like Pepe was able to lie about all these people and how they feel about her when they both left the show together. It's just more of a smear campaign on Pepe, in my opinion. But she also posted in this video, it felt like I was being alienated from everyone, and it got to a point where I didn't know what to believe or who to believe anymore. I found myself second guessing things and people I normally wouldn't. It's crazy how Iris was just so alienated, apparently, when the season ended, and a month later, and then 3 months later, when Beyond the Villa is happening, Iris is the one alienating other people. Iris is at the top of this clout clique. Was she really able to do that in 3 months? I don't know. But the last thing she tried to do in this video is discredit Bella as well. And the only thing she ended up doing is proving Bella's point.
We had conversations privately where she said that she had no interest of anything to do with Pepe or Brian.
So this is, it's hearsay. We don't know if Bella actually really said this. She could have said this. She also said in the video, there was a huge contradiction between what Bella was saying to us privately versus what she was saying on camera. Sure, except for the evidence Iris is about to present soon, which we'll get to, kind of actually proves Bella right. Because the main thing to look at from these text messages is the dates on them. And all of the ones that have dates are Iris and Bella talking on either months before Beyond the Villa started or months when Beyond the Villa was being shot. And that is very important because that was Bella's whole point, that Hannah and Iris, they were close after the season started, and now she started to feel like she wasn't a part of the cool kids. So Iris's whole point here is that she wasn't alienating Bella, and she uses this as evidence, but the first two texts are from before Beyond the Villa was even starting, or right when the Beyond the Villa was being filmed, because it was filmed between November and January at least, if not November and February. And one of the most recent texts that she has is right after that Christmas party, where it actually shows that while the season was being filmed, Bella was the one reaching out to Iris, because we see her hitting up Iris before Christmas. We see that Bella is the one wishing her a happy new year. We see that Bella is the one to hit her up a few days later into the new year. So to me, this is proof that Bella was actually telling the truth, that they were closer before Beyond the Villa was starting. While the season was actually being shot, it felt like Bella had to reach out to Iris. That's proven in these text messages, and it's proven on the show that there was this mean girl-like clique at the top. Just stupid from Iris here.
When I said, I don't know what you're talking about, I was saying, I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. I invite you all the time to places. I call you. I text you.
Yeah, she did all this all the time before Beyond the Villa was starting, and at the beginning when it was first being filmed. And then what, Iris? And then what? Bella was the one reaching out to you in the own text messages that you provided.
I also want to address when she told me that she wants to be kind. I never told her not to be kind. I recognize and I respect that she wanted to make Pepe feel welcome. In that moment, when she said that, it felt like a deflection of what we were actually talking about.
This is Iris trying to say that she wasn't being a mean girl to Bella. She had a reason for what she did. And I just don't buy it, because you can say what you want, but the show did catch Lyris in several different lies. It's why she has that nickname now. But Lyris does more than just lie. She twists the truth. She tried to do that about Bella in the conversation that they had in that final episode. And if someone can do that on the show, why can't we think that they would be able to do that with this whole Pepe situation? And I'm not saying that Pepe wasn't a cheater. I probably think that Pepe was sleeping with other women after he got off of Love Island, which is why I still think that their whole thing was fraudulent anyways, and that they were trying to scam, and it didn't work out. So Iris tried to do it with TJ, and that's why they're scamming, trying to say their first I love yous on a TV show. I don't think this helped Iris's case. I am glad that she finally did try to show receipts, but the Bella receipts especially, she actually proved Bella right.